Do you remember the first Arman animation thing you saw?
Oh boy, like it was 5 minutes ago. We never. It's every time
Not that we've only watched it 5 minutes ago.
And that was the first thing we ever saw. Yeah. No, but of course, I mean the wrong trousers. I think Dan and I were, with the same age.
Yeah.
And we both have this memory of kind of seeing it on the television and being like, "What is this?" Everyone out the way.
That was BBC One.
On BBC One,
yeah.
And the wrong trousers, and 1996. Same year as Nightmare Before Christmas, but that experience of seeing that film, probably a very formative time in our lives. We would have been 12,
Probably
11 or 12, and just been seeing magic.
It was the same for you?
Well, it was. Yeah, the wrong trousers was. I just remember the moment where they go outside, and it was it's actually quite. It's quite minimal the way that they render the outside, but for me as a kid, I was like, "There's a whole world like this, as detailed and as amazingly made as this."
Well,
it blew my mind.
But the thing is, and that's one thing. I must say, the thing I love the most about Arman, it's all about character.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you have a plot-driven story, it's actually character-driven.
Yes.
Because it's about what characters are trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Which brings us to Robin.
Oh yes.
That thing. What is that?
That thing.
Okay.
What's that?
Yeah.
I mean, people think. I believe people will think the Robin is a short, but actually it feels like a feature in the sense of scope, scale, emotional impact, the resources that you have, because it looks so layered. It's I love it. I love it. I think it's great.
We were aware that we were trying to make a feature in a 30-minute sort of amount of time, and what we found was it was a great sort of approach to take, because you had to then just focus in on the storycraft, and you couldn't have any extra sort of indulgent moments, or just every single
transitional moments.
You couldn't, and you couldn't hide.
Cut to the chase.
You couldn't hide behind any sort of
fancy stuff,
things. You just had to. Every single frame had to count, and it was great for that. It was also quite difficult, because
how much time how much time did it take to animate the whole thing?
It was about 8 months. The shoot.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually quite fast.
But that's fast. But then the huge sort of
the whole process.
Time either side of that is years. That was the stage time that we got to do the dance on, but getting ready for the dance was such a long time.
So
it's a story that me and Mikey had sort of been writing and developing for about 4 or 5 years before we even took it to Aardman, and it sort of existed mostly as a kind of story that we tell around Christmas to our friends and family. We're like, we've got this idea for a Christmas film, and you tell it each year, and each year they get more and more sort of bored by the story, and you'd have to jazz it up a little bit and be like, "There's a star. There's a star in it."
Were you changing the story all along?
Well, we
were
were
looking at the reactions of
kind of.
Oh yeah, you're walking away, but there's a cat. Come back.
That's awesome. Last 2 questions, because somebody's doing this thing behind camera. The short was acquired by Netflix once it was nominated, or was before?
Oh no,
they commissioned the film, so
that's awesome.
They've been with us from day one of production.
So it wasn't based on a nomination; it was based on the sheer desire of.
Oh yeah, they made
making
it with us. Yeah, for sure.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
No, it certainly wasn't.
That's great.
We pitched the story to Aardman and to Sarah Cox, who's our development exec there, and then she was as enthused about it as we were, and then we spoke to Alexi Wheeler at Netflix, and he was as enthused, and we were like, let's all make
the whole
together.
thing.
And it was amazing. The kind of trust and the support they gave us to make the film was almost suspiciously great. We're like, you're just gonna trust us to make this thing,
right? Are you completely sure?
Okay, you might. Do you want to stop us? You might want to stop us.
Absolutely.
But it was, it's an amazing approach that they had, and of course being at Aardman as well, which is the studio is founded on sort of just
the creative,
supporting the kind of creative instincts, or just kind of the desire.
Who would you love to bump into the red carpet?
Well, Lin-Manuel Miranda, I'm sort of that's the only person that I'm actually sort of Scary.
yeah, Mariano is from his way, all that stuff. Yeah.
As I left the house, my son gave me this card, and he went,
For Lin-Manuel?
well, he just gave it to me, and he said, "This is for you," and it says, "Good luck for the Oscars from Finn." I went, "Oh." And I turned it around, it said, "To Lin-Manuel."
That's so cool. That's so cool. And how
like,
about
give that
you?
to-
I mean, are you?
I can't really top that.
Yeah,
anecdote.
that's untoppable.
I mean, Lord and Miller, you know,
Yeah,
they're
of
dead.
course.
Like, I'd love to see it. But I actually saw them last night, and I kind of had all of my enthusiasm and fanboy. And I was like, oh, "Can I kiss your shoes?" And it's like, "Yes, you're disgusting."
the
So,
Mitchell-
no, it was really,
Mitchell's
it was
such a-
lovely to meet.
Freaking
So-
masterpiece.
It's amazing.
Such an amazing
yeah,
film.
huge
It was
fans.
extraordinary. Yeah.
Last question for me. You know, this is going to be a very particular year for the Oscars. I'm
Yeah.
not going to ask you about that stuff.
Okay.
Okay, don't worry about it. You know, there's going to be an award that the audience is going to give away. And I was wondering if you could choose any movie that had some impact when you were growing up and give an Oscar to that one, even if the movie already won an Oscar, which movie could be? It could be
An award for. Let me just understand the question.
a movie that has some impact when you were growing up,
Yeah. Okay.
the movie that made you a filmmaker, the movie
mean-
that changed your life.
Only because we already spoke about The Wrong Trousers, and that was like generally a really formative thing. Talk about The Nightmare Before Christmas and how a similar kind of experience. And that one we saw in the cinema, and I sort of was shaking when I came out of it because I was like, how did that happen? You know, how did these things come to life? And I think that chasing the dragon of that experience of watching magic, and I feel that's what animation is.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
When we went to the Academy Museum yesterday, and have you been?
Yeah, a couple of times.
The animation room there. We met the curator and we were like, you know, the only thing that isn't here is a small place to cry at the beauty of it all, because
Yeah.
it's staggering. And watching these magic tricks unfold, it's
oh my
breathtaking. Yeah.
How about you?
Oh,
Which movie?
which movie? Cool Runnings. Cool Runnings.
Okay, you're the first one. I've been asking this for
that
like
film.
a couple of hours.
That was my first
Everybody,
cinema.
You're the first one who's
That was my first big cinema outing to see Cool Runnings, and I can still. It was
Feel
just.
the-
I can still feel it. I was like,
Whatever
oh boy,
it is.
this is life. This is living.
awesome, guys.
I would-
Thank you so much.